So high temperature at O'Hare, we hit 47 degrees, but there are locations right now that are sitting in the 50s. And I do have to say, I sat on the balcony today and it was stunning. I think I got a little sunburned out there. It was gorgeous. High temperatures, 50 degrees is what we made it to in Aurora, 52 in Joliet, 48 in Merrillville. Here's where we're at now. So we have had some slightly cooler air beginning to build in. That's thanks to a cold front that moved through this morning. So we now have that northwesterly wind flow, but still temperatures are gorgeous outside. Average for this time of the year was right around 34 degrees. Your forecast low temperatures tonight, it is going to get chilly. We're planning on lows in the mid 20s. That too is still above average, but we have 30s on tap for tomorrow before 40s are set to return again later this week. The weekend looks good. And next week, I'm still tracking what could bring some more 50s to the area. Those details coming up.
All right, thanks so much. There is a big development in the search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. The FBI released new images of a possible subject. They were reportedly taken this morning, the morning that is, when Nancy Guthrie disappeared. FBI Director Kash Patel says they recovered this footage from her home's security system.
It was in the back-end data. Caroline Elliott has been following this case.
The FBI now releasing surveillance photos for the first time 10 days into the search, where we can clearly see someone standing on the front porch of Nancy Guthrie's home. In that photo, you can make out someone that looks like they're standing underneath an arch. And in those photos, you can make out someone wearing a mask, wearing gloves, and it appears that they're even trying to tamper with that recording device that was on Nancy's front porch.
This is very powerful evidence, not only in furthering the investigation, but potentially at a trial.
The FBI will be analyzing this surveillance video closely, hoping to find any clues that could help solve this case. The White House also now reacting to these photos in a Tuesday White House briefing, saying that President Trump offers his full support for the Guthrie family.
And again, we're just praying for the safety of Nancy Guthrie and that she will return home soon. And the president directed me to please encourage all Americans with any information to call the FBI. And
Savannah Guthrie also sharing a new statement on Instagram this afternoon where she said she believes her mom is still alive, saying bring her home now. In Tucson, Arizona, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Boy, there was a heated hearing today. Congress questioned immigration officials about the deaths of U.S. citizens during President Trump's immigration crackdown. They also asked about the shooting of Marma Martinez in Chicago. She was accused of obstructing law enforcement, but video showed that was not true. The charges were later dropped. Now, another member asked about Border Patrol agents who threw pepper spray into a moving car and injured an infant. That was during Operation Midway Blitz. ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons did not answer most questions about specific incidents, but he defended his officers. He said they are operating in high-pressure situations.
Egged on by elected officials characterizing our officers as the Gestapo of secret police.
If you don't want to be called a fascist regime or secret police, then stop acting like one.
Fox News poll from January found 59% of people said ICE is being too aggressive. That is up 10 points from July. There's another hearing Thursday.
2 people were hospitalized after growing mysteriously ill, that is, in a rideshare. Chicago police say the rideshare driver had picked up a scheduled package at Logan Square last night. Shortly after, he and his passenger got sick. They called 911. The 2 were taken to a hospital, listed in fair condition. A hazmat team recovered the package, but have not said what was inside.
Well, a family in Valparaiso is suing the school district. They say their son got hurt at football practice and the school did not handle it right.
Brett is joining us in Valparaiso with the latest on this story. Brett?
Yeah, Sylvia, Terrence, we found out today that the son is still not going to school right now. We met up with him earlier today along with his father. His right wrist is in a cast and his symptoms from the concussion that he suffered are apparently still so severe. He's having some vision problems and some balancing issues. And to make matters worse, they are now saying after everything that happened, they are now getting death threats. So the specific language in this lawsuit that the Solomon family is getting ready to file against Valparaiso Community Schools isn't defined yet, or it's not clear cut at this point, but speaking to the father, Jason Solomon, who told me he feels that the high school was negligent after his son broke his wrist and then hit his head on the field house floor after a football drill during some off-season workout. So that hit reportedly turned out to be a concussion. So his father tells me no one from the school contacted him that night about any of his son's injuries. He said he found out about it only after his son texted him that he was not feeling well. So Solomon told me he confronted the coaches that night who told him his son was going to be okay and that he only had a sprained wrist. He said they never mentioned anything about a head injury, and Solomon told me none of the football coaches or training staff knew where his son was after practice. He told me he had to go searching for him inside the school, where he found his son alone in a gym.
And then I finally got him into the car, and then as I was pulling out, he just went forward. His neck went forward, his eyes, he's having a hard time keeping his eyes open. So I'm holding on to the steering wheel, and I'm holding him, and I'm like, buddy, please stay up. And I even put the window down to try to get some air in. I says, keep your eyes open. And he goes, Dad, I'm not well. I don't feel well. I says, buddy, we're getting to the emergency room.
So within the last hour, the superintendent for Valparaiso Community Schools got back to me and disputed some of the things that the father just told us right here on Fox Chicago. He told me that that he was saying that no injury was reported or observed during practice, and that the coach was notified only after practice ended, and that the coach and the training staff did everything that was above board after everything that happened during that football practice that happened last week. Certainly, we're going to stay on top of this. We're going to bring you more tonight at 5 and 9 o'clock. But for now, we are live in Valparaiso tonight. Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
Thank you, Brett. Remember that squatter situation we've been telling you about in LaGrange? Well, it could soon be resolved. Today, the judge ordered the squatters at the home on South Catherine to leave the property by 5 p.m. Now, if that doesn't happen, LaGrange police do have the right to evict them. The home was foreclosed on last year, but squatters have taken over since then. Police have raided that home multiple times and found drugs inside. There have also been allegations of prostitution. The people who live in the neighborhood say they are happy with today's decision.
We're happy as can be. I mean, it has just been a nightmare for everybody in the community. I think everybody behind me, everybody that's been in all the court appearances so far, have all suffered in some way from this, and we just want it behind us.
New legislation that went into effect last year allows police to remove squatters as trespassers without a court-ordered eviction.
Well, there is an election race that could affect your property taxes.
Candidates for Cook County Assessor debated today. The assessor decides what your home is worth and what commercial buildings are worth.
Yeah, the Leaders Network hosted this. Fritz Kagi is the incumbent. Patrick Hines is challenging him. So why does this matter? Well, last year, the Cook County Treasurer put out a report. It found lower income black communities saw the biggest property tax increases. West Garfield Park had the largest increase, 133%. Kagi says that happened because the Cook County Board of Review cut taxes on commercial properties like Trump Tower. Hines says that is not true. He says it starts with the assessor doing fair assessments.
These assessments were a choice. It was a choice made by the incumbent. And what you're hearing is a distraction. He's trying to convince you that the reason that there's a spike in these communities has something completely different to do with what his choice was. And it doesn't make a lick of sense.
There is no reason why Trump Tower, the biggest data centers downtown, are having these big cuts, and we have to make up the difference. My opponent, he took a donation from the property tax appeals lawyer who got the reduction for Trump Tower.
Kagi has been Cook County Assessor since 2018. Hines is the Lyons Township Assessor. They're also hosting we are also hosting our own debate, I should say, with those two candidates. That's next Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, the 2026 midterm elections are here. Early voting is underway in parts of Illinois.
And there are a lot of close races. Paris Schutz is here to walk us through some of them we're watching.
Yeah, Terrence and Sylvia. So our viewers in DuPage County, early voting starts today for you all. For the folks that have made their minds up already, early voting a good option. Primary is March 17th. And then for Chicago residents, the Loop Supercenter will open on Thursday at 191 North Clark. It's the only place to cast the ballot in the city right now. Then starting March 2nd, there will be one site in each of Chicago's 50 wards. And Chicago Elections Board Director Max Bever says the city is trying to make it as convenient as possible.
There's more space than our old site. We have 80 voting machines, and we have more prepared. Primary elections, while we see a little bit of lower turnout, we're ready for as many voters as we can have. When it comes to our voting machines, though, there is not any major changes. We are really business as normal.
And consider all the races to vote in. So there is the race for Illinois Senate to replace Dick Durbin. You've got Representatives Robin Kelly and Roger Krishnamurthy, as well as Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton. On the Republican side, you have Don Tracy, the former state Republican Party chairman. And then the GOP primary to find a candidate to take on Governor Pritzker. Darren Bailey, Ted Dabrowski, James Mendrick duking it out there. Cook County Board President, longtime incumbent Tony Preckwinkle, is seeking a fourth term, but has a challenge from 42nd Ward Chicago Alderman Brendan Riley, who just received the Tribune endorsement. And as you mentioned, Terrence, incumbent Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi getting a challenge from former Assessor's Office employee Pat Hines. And we are going to kick off our Chicago Report debate series on Monday, featuring those 3 Democratic candidates for U.S. Senate. You're not going to want to miss that. We've got debates all week with all those races we just mentioned, plus the very hotly contested 9th Congressional District race, where you have Jan Schakowsky retiring and a bunch of candidates vying to take her place. That all gets underway on Monday on the Chicago Report at 6. And then again at 10. Terrence?
Really looking forward to all of that, Harris. Thank you. There's another city trying to get the Bears, Portage, Indiana.
Yeah, they are presenting a rent-free proposal tomorrow.
Yeah, Portage is on the northern edge of Indiana, right on Lake Michigan. David Kaplan from ESPN 1000 says the city offered to build a domed stadium with no public money. The Bears would not pay rent. They pay rent now at Soldier Field. So that is the second Indiana city going after the team. Gary was the first. The Bears wanted Arlington Heights originally. You remember they already own land there. But talks about public funding took too long. They gave other cities a chance. The thing is, the Bears are supposedly close to a deal with Illinois lawmakers, though.
Getting more curiouser and curiouser, isn't it? Ooh, how about it? Okay, coming up ahead at 4:30. We're going to have a fireside chat with the mayor of Gary.
Crime is down. The population is up. And yes, he wants the Bears in Indiana. His pitch in dollars and cents.
Dating online feels normal now, right? But for one local man, it cost him $70,000. What he wants you to know.
Plus, their message is resonating with people from coast to coast. A 2,000-mile journey on foot comes to an end. Come on back.
Welcome back. 4:14. You may have heard about this on social media. 19 Buddhist monks have been walking across the country for the past 15 weeks, and today they are finishing their 2,300-mile journey. The monks began walking on October 26 in Fort Worth, Texas. The destination, Washington, D.C., and they reached the Washington National Cathedral today, completing 108 days of walking and advocating for peace. Along that journey, thousands have gathered on roadsides to watch the monks' quiet single-file procession.
We are not walking from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. to bring you any peace, but to raise the awareness of peace so that you can unlock that box.
The kindness that they show, even when things got a little tense, I just marveled at the ability of them to just breathe and to, take the time.
The monks will be visiting the Lincoln Memorial tomorrow, and then they're going to board a bus back to Texas on Thursday. The final 6 miles of that journey will wrap up on Saturday when they walk back to the temple where that trip began.
Great reminder to just be still and stay in the moment and slow down. So let's slow down and get another check of the forecast. Emily, not bad at all out there.
No, it's stunning today. We had a lot of sunshine this morning, a little bit more in the way of cloud cover out there right now. But regardless, it's a beautiful day. We have temperatures that for a lot of us are sitting in the 40s, but we're still holding on to 50 in Kankakee. We do have that northwesterly wind now bringing in some of that cooler air. So tonight temperatures are actually going to be dropping down into the 20s, which, by the way, is very seasonable for this time of the year. So we're looking at mid-20s overnight, low 20s out in the suburbs. Tomorrow, upper 30s to near 40 degrees. We're counting on a decent amount of sunshine during the afternoon, and then taking us into Thursday, we're going to start to cloud things back over. Temperatures will be in the 20s in the morning and then warming up into the upper 30s to near 40 degrees during the afternoon. The next 5 days around here look really nice. We're in and out of the sunshine. We'll have a little bit more in the way of cloud cover around on Thursday. Friday, sunny skies, 47 degrees for your Friday afternoon. I think over the weekend, I've boosted those highs into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Back to you.
White Sox pitchers and catchers reported to their spring training facility in Glendale, Arizona yesterday.
Tina is there at Camelback Ranch and sat down with some of the players.
Last season, everyone talks about the momentum that you guys built after the All-Star break in the second half of the season there. Chris Getz uses the word momentum, but overall we saw a 19-win improvement there from the 2024 season. What does that jump say about where this team, the direction that it's headed?
I think it says a lot. It says a lot about the progress that we've made, and that's certainly meaningful. At the same time, we know that if we want to capitalize on that momentum and take the next step forward, we really have to start at zero here in camp and create habits around the right things. And, that's our approach to camp this year. So excited to do that after, what was a great second half and a great offseason.
We do feel like we're going to take a meaningful leap forward. We do. What does that look like? Obviously you look at the standings, and that's an easy one to point to, and we do expect to have more wins. But the continual development of these young players, and we've got other players in the minor leagues that are pushing towards the top, and Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz and Sam Antonacci and Braden Montgomery, Tanner McDougal, and so I look forward to welcoming those players into the big leagues at the right time as well, and to really add to the foundation that we have in place already. So, the experience that the group had last year in learning how to win together and understand what it takes to be successful at the major league level, and to continue that process with the additions of some of the younger players that are going to break in. And then, of course, you bring in the Munes, and you bring in the Hayes, you bring in a Hicks and a Sandlin, just guys that are going to help add to the win total as well. So, I look forward to, at the end of the year, feeling like we took another step forward, so we have a better understanding what we need to do next offseason as well.
So you can watch Tina's whole conversation with both of those guys on our YouTube page at Fox 32 Chicago.
With baseball season just around the corner, the Art Institute is springing a spring training surprise, acquiring its first Norman Rockwell with a decidedly Cubs theme. I'm Dane Placco at the Art Institute. I'll have that story coming up.
recommended oil change.
Well, as you know, spring training is about to start, and the Art Institute of Chicago just put up a painting that Cubs fans will love.
It's a Norman Rockwell painting called The Dugout. Former Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner and his wife Diana actually donated it.
Dane Placco was there when they hung it up.
A pair of Art Institute employees, fittingly wearing Cubs caps, wheel in one of the most famous paintings in baseball history and carefully place it on a gallery wall. The first Norman Rockwell in the museum's massive collection, and one that has special meaning to Cubs fans everywhere.
This is a really big deal for the Art Institute. It is so exciting for the museum. We are located in the heart of Chicago, and so to be able to celebrate the Chicago Cubs in this way is certainly the museum's dream.
The Dugout was painted by Rockwell in 1948 for the cover of the Saturday Evening Post. It's being donated by former Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner and his wife Diana, who bought it for $700,000 in 2009.
We've enjoyed the painting for a very long time, just in our home and in our family. But it's really it's a painting for our community, and so we wanted to share it with the Chicago community.
It's a very emotional gift for me because this is my favorite painting. I'm a Norman Rockwell massive fan.
The painting was based on a series of photographs taken after the Cubs lost a doubleheader at Braves Field in May of 1948, with Rockwell in attendance.
And so Rockwell decided to do a cover focused on the dejected Cubs in the dugout, contrasted with the gleeful fans cheering in the background.
Rockwell posed 4 Cubs, including manager Charlie Grimm, and instructed them to look dejected, and recruited some Braves fans to jeer the players above the dugout.
And then he asked the Braves bat boy to put on the uniform of the Cubs team and pose as the Cubs bat boy, and he paid him $5 to do that.
The painting's new home is here in Gallery 263, the Arts of Americas, and it's hanging in a murderer's row of American art. Edward Hopper's Nighthawks, Grant Wood's American Gothic, and artworks by Georgia O'Keeffe and Diego Rivera.
You're surrounded by one of the great collections of American art anywhere, and a collection of icons, truly a collection of icons.
And the workers who wheeled the painting in say it's important to them as well.
My grandparents took me to the Cubs games when I was 5 years old. Been a big fan ever since.
I can look at that and think about the emotions of what they've overcome over the years and the trials and tribulations and the victories, and it's just a great thing. It's a great emotional connection. You think maybe this will spur the Cubs on? They're looking good. Spring. Hope springs eternal. I don't think you should answer. Hope springs eternal.
At the Art Institute, Dane Placco, Fox Chicago.
Wow, I had no idea that's the only Norman Rockwell at the Art Institute.
Gotta go see it.
How about it?
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, you're probably thinking you're smart enough not to fall for it, but he did, too.
Yeah, a local man tells us how wanting something real made him ignore everything fake. What he missed that you need to see in his message for anyone dating online right now.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
hi, Blair. Hi.
Right in the palm of your hand, if you want soup, sweatpants, and zero in-person contact, if you want wellness wherever, our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare.
Rouge.
Now at 4:30, an update on the 8-year-old boy who died in Round Lake Beach. His daycare director says she saw something wrong as she tried to warn DCFS.
Leslie Moreno is live with what we're learning this afternoon. Leslie?
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, that daycare director says the young boy was always hungry, often eating 3 to 4 times a day. She says she also recalls noticing strange patches of missing hair on the back of his head. Police say 8-year-old Markel Pierce of Round Lake Beach was found inside his home unresponsive on Friday afternoon. His mother and her boyfriend are both now being charged with first-degree murder and child endangerment, accused of what prosecutors describe as long-term physical, mental, and nutritional abuse. Tonight, new questions about whether warning signs were missed. I spoke with a daycare director who says Markel and his sister were enrolled at her daycare between January and April of last year. She tells me someone contacted DCFS with concerns about his well-being, and DCFS contacted her. She says she spoke with DCFS and told them about her concerns.
We have very good portions for snack. They'd have first, then they'd have seconds, then they might ask for thirds. One of the red flags was that as they were leaving, he had another snack. Mom grabbed it out of his hand and threw it on the table and said, "Don't act like you're not fed." And then he kind of, dropped his head down and just walked down the hallway with.
Pinsky says 3 days after she spoke with DCFS, Markel and his sister were abruptly taken out of the daycare. She says they were also homeschooled, allegedly because the mom was, quote, sick of all the calls made to DCFS. We did reach out to DCFS. They tell us that the family was not receiving any of their services, and because this is an active investigation, they cannot provide any other details besides that. We're now reporting live here in Lake County. Les Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
All right, Leslie, thank you. The mayor of Gary, Indiana, is holding a fireside chat today. He will talk about the city's future.
He has openly campaigned for Gary to be the next home of the Chicago Bears. Joni is in Gary, where they're hoping for a new stadium. Joni?
Sylvia Terrence, the mayor of Gary, invited us to the Hard Rock Casino to hear him talk about the economy here. But this is one of the 3 locations that Gary is offering to the Chicago Bears to become the home of a new stadium. So the mayor and industry leaders here are serious about luring the Bears to Gary, Indiana. Mayor Melton released renderings of 3 locations for a Chicago Bears stadium last month. He said the city already is investing in destinations, including a $100 million convention center, tearing down abandoned homes, and building new housing. The Gary Airport is an economic engine. And like the Bears' performance on the field this past season, the city of Gary wants the ultimate comeback. On Fox Chicago, Melton said he has had conversations with Bears president and CEO Kevin Warren.
I know that Indiana has the business climate. We have the policies that's going to make any business successful. To be so close to Chicago with the South Shore double track that literally passengers can get on a train from downtown Millennial Park right to downtown Gary or other parts of Northwest Indiana in a matter of minutes.
And Mayor Eddie Melton will be joined here at the casino by the head of the casino, the head of U.S. Steel, the head of the airport. This is being billed as an open conversation, but it's also an open invitation for the public to believe in it. And as you've reported, there are other cities here in Indiana who want in on this game. Reporting live in Gary, I'm Joni Lum, Fox Chicago.
All right, Joni, thank you, and welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, Joni.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Stunning.
That is so pretty. And it's 4:33 and the sun still is shining, right?
That's right. And it is still very warm outside by February standards as well, because your average high for this time of the year is right around 34 degrees. Today, we actually topped out in the upper 40s to low 50s. We've had some slightly cooler air settle in over the last few hours. So now our temperatures are beginning to drop into the low to mid 40s for a lot of us. And tonight, we're going to be seasonably chilly. We'll have low temperatures dropping down into the mid 20s under partly cloudy skies. Your out the door forecast for Wednesday, whether you're taking off in the morning, the midday, or even into the afternoon, things look really, really nice. We're going to see a lot of sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures during the afternoon will be warming up into the upper 30s to low 40s. I'm going with a high of 40 degrees for Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, more in the way of cloud cover. Skies become mostly cloudy, highs near 39. But then Friday, we see highs near 47. Terrence.
This week we celebrate romance. Scammers celebrate opportunity. They know people are lonely. They know people want connection. One man in our area fell in love with a lie. Months later, he was $70,000 in debt.
And the funny part is that I used to think that I was smart enough not to get into it.
That's the thing about getting played. It's not desperation that gets you, it's confidence. We're calling him Grant Trusts. Not his real name. He asked us to hide his face, hasn't told his friends, hasn't told his family. Too ashamed. But he's sitting here with us anyway because what happened to him could happen to you.
And it was heartbreaking. I mean, I couldn't believe it, obviously. But
it started on Facebook dating. Normal profile, normal conversation. We verified everything he told us. Police reports, FBI complaint, Better Business Bureau filings, screenshots from the chats and apps. He reported it all. He showed us her photo. This is Kay.
Honestly, it did. You get excited, right? I mean, she's beautiful. She's good looking and she talks to you nice. And it took at least a month or two to really get to know each other in a way, obviously talking every day. And yeah, emotionally, you get attached.
This wasn't fast. That's important. Months of talking every day. FaceTime, routine. It felt real, which is why it worked. It's called confirmation bias.
When we see something that we truly want to be true, we will confirm it is true for ourselves, even though something within us knows it's too good to be true.
Former FBI undercover operative Eric O'Neill says something inside us knows better. We just don't listen.
You feel disappointed, you feel betrayed, you have everything. And plus, you know you're losing all this money.
Kate told Grant she was making money trading crypto. Said she'd show him how. Start small, $100. The app showed profits. He tested it, withdrew a few thousand. It worked. So he kept going and going. Took out a $40,000 loan. Lost $70,000 total. When he finally tried to pull out more, the app locked him out. He confronted Kay. Why are you scamming people? She wrote back, because you are stupid.
I went back to this app, the Facebook dating app, and I found her with other profile, with other names, same pictures, other pictures.
We always say, think from the mind, from the head, not from the heart, because the moment you have relinquished your logic, that's where you lost the battle.
We show cybersecurity expert Ethan Ravi this photo. Took him 5 seconds to spot it. AI, it's letting scammers run industrial scale fake love.
AI usage when it comes to cyber criminal and fraud related cases had spiked by 70% in the past 12 months alone.
He says they're not hacking systems anymore, they're hacking people, and it's all built for people who think they're too smart to fall for it.
I couldn't talk to nobody, trust me, and nobody knows about this. Because it's a shame, it's embarrassing, and I want people to learn from my mistakes.
Grant doesn't think Kay was just one person. O'Neill and Ravi agree. They believe it's an organized network, a whole industry banking on you, then looking for help.
After you lose all this money, and then you keep asking questions, and you start getting all these lawyers' ads telling you that they will help you and investigate and blah, blah, blah. And I lost another $3,000 investing money to try to get legal aid, to follow this trace with these people, and it's another scam.
You think you'd never do that, but last year in Illinois alone, people lost $36 million to romance scams. Nationwide, $1 billion. O'Neill used to catch spies. Now he tracks scammers. So does Ravi. His company helps people like Grant get back what they lost. Both say this doesn't stop at dating or adults.
Attackers will use social media profiles that look like a beautiful young girl, for example, and they will use it to prey on young teenage boys. It becomes a little bit more spicy, and then your young teenager gets a nude picture, and the person they're chatting with says, "It's your turn." And as soon as they send that image, it becomes a very serious exploitation where they're asking for money or they're going to send that picture to everyone that your child knows. And there have been a number of cases, about a dozen in the last few years, where teens have committed suicide out of the shame and the fear.
The shame, that's what keeps people quiet. Grant's not silent anymore. He's in therapy now. He deleted all dating apps on his phone, and he's paying off his debt every month for at least a year, maybe longer, while police investigate. Grant's gotten no updates, and O'Neill says there's a reason why.
These sort of offenders are everywhere. Most of them are overseas, and that makes it very difficult to punish them for the crimes. They're in places that can't be extradited.
There's a lot he doesn't know. When Kay will be caught, when he'll be able to trust again, when he'll find someone to love. But he knows it's worth the wait, just not at any cost.
We are humans. I will hate to say not to fall in love, not to follow your feelings, but unfortunately, we have to be very careful. It's unfortunately, a lot of people out there get to know the person, don't put any money on it.
Yeah, meeting someone online, you got to do this first. You can reverse image search their photos. Check how long their profiles have been around. See if the same face shows up under different names. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, family, someone who can see what you might be missing. And trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. And if they ever ask for money or talk about investing together, stop. That's your red flag. And if you realize you've been scammed, you have to act fast. Contact your bank immediately, then report it to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3.gov. And before you sign up for any dating site, check it on bbb.org. The Better Business Bureau says some entire platforms are scams designed to steal your credit card information. So many things to check nowadays, Sylvia.
I love that you said many times that this really could happen to any of us. Okay, I don't understand the FaceTime. I understand AI. And I know there's FaceTime. How do the two merge together?
There are AI apps for you to have a conversation
so
with
I
the
can make
person.
myself look different.
So you can make yourself look different, and whatever's coming out of your mouth will be coming out of the AI.
That's incredible.
Mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, thanks for that, T. Great story. Well, coming up after the break, rent now, pay later, a look at a growing trend. Delivery robots are being spotted in Chicago neighborhoods, but not everyone is too excited about this. And what do a Chicago symphony conductor and Bad Bunny have in common? 6 Grammys, and now they've performed together at the Super Bowl halftime show. We'll tell you how this happened.
Race into Is on Fox.
On Wall Street today, the Dow hit its 7th record close of the year. Stocks slowed down after Fed officials urged caution on rate cuts. Shoppers stopped spending at the end of the year. December retail sales were flat. Economists expected them to rise. Tomorrow, the January jobs report comes out at 8:30 Eastern time, so 7:30 our time. All right, you've heard of buy now, pay later. Well, now how about rent now, pay later?
So companies like Flex and Affirm are rolling out a new pilot program, letting users break up their rent into multiple payments. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking out a short-term loan. The company pays your rent on the first, and you may have smaller payments over the course of the month. Typically, you do pay a service fee or a monthly subscription. Flex has more than 1.5 million customers nationwide. The company's VP of Public Affairs joined Chicago Live to explain the service, saying the goal is to help the average household balance their bills and income.
Our platform is really focused on getting people into housing by lowering the barrier of entry, keeping people financially stable by helping them split their rent and avoid a lot of these fees and penalties, help them build their credit history, and then ultimately we have the safety net on the end that can keep people housed if it looks like their situation needs something more than what debt can solve. We have the direct rental assistance piece.
To use the Rent Now Pay Later service, you will need to reapply monthly, but a word of caution, experts warn that consistent borrowing could lead to a death spiral of debt.
Those delivery robots on the sidewalk, they are not expanding in the first ward. A Chicago alderman is blocking it. You may have seen these things rolling around for the past year. They've been delivering food. It's a pilot program. They started in 2022. Two companies run them, Coco and Serve Robotics. But Alderman Daniel Sabana surveyed people in his ward, and more than 80% said they want the bots out.
It was, number one, the congestion that people were experiencing on the sidewalk. For a lot of our seniors or people with disabilities, it was an accessibility issue. Chicago sidewalks are not in the best condition at the best of times. You take a 4-foot sidewalk and a 2-foot robot, it becomes a real issue, particularly for our residents with strollers, with wheelchairs.
The robots go a max of 5 miles per hour. A person monitors them in real time. By the way, the pilot program ends next year.
A Chicago conductor, a global superstar, a secret call. The result, a string quartet at the Super Bowl halftime show. That's the story of how Grant Park Music Festival maestro Giancarlo Guerrero ended up performing with Bad Bunny. You might have noticed him conducting that string orchestra as Bad Bunny walked through the makeshift sugarcane fields. He says it all happened so fast. 1 week before the Super Bowl, he gets a call from Bad Bunny's manager saying he's been requested to be a part of the halftime show. Bad Bunny had heard of him because they're both 6-time Grammy Award winners. Guerrero and the rest of the performers only had 3 days to practice and were sworn to secrecy. It is the biggest musical stage on the planet. He couldn't believe it, and apparently neither could his daughters, who are huge Bad Bunny fans.
Listen, guys, under penalty of death, you cannot say anything, but this is happening. But when we first contacted them, both of my girls were looking at me kind of in disbelief. He's like, Dad, I mean, you're joking, right? I mean, this is, what are the odds? I mean, Super Bowl, Bad Bunny, classical music. I mean, no. And I kept trying to convince them. And my wife's like, yes, I was here. I just heard the call. And finally, one of my daughters was actually got a little angry and said, Dad, if this is a joke, this is kind of, poor taste. I mean, you're just being cruel.
This is not funny to the girls, but it was no joke. And now he is a part of history. He says during practice, phones were covered with tape. Everyone was reminded to keep it secret. But now he can talk about it and says it was the most amazing experience he will never forget. And by the way, he'll be back in Chicago on June 10th to begin the new season of the Grant Park Music Festival. We're still waiting to hear if he's going to be including any Bad Bunny in his classical playlist for Chicago to enjoy.
That would be something.
I bet he does, because he says he's not really much of a social media guy, but all of a sudden he's got this following that he didn't have before. And I think when people are going to, some people who've never been may go because they know that he's going to be there, right?
The secrecy part of it ought to be so tough, though. How do you not just let that out? Like, I hung out with Bad Bunny.
I know. He said everybody was professional and kept their lips tight. They didn't say a word.
That is awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. All right, Grant Park is getting a makeover. What the Park District wants to add, what you'll see first at Buckingham Fountain, who's already sponsoring it, and the one big thing they won't say about the plan.
Download today.
All right, there is a new plan for Grant Park. They spent 2 years talking to people about it, and here's what they want to do. Permanent public restrooms.
Yes.
New walkways over DuSable Lakeshore Drive. I was waiting for
yes.
more landscaping and chairs you can move around at Buckingham Fountain.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
How are you going to keep the chairs down? Because people might take them chairs down.
I think you're right.
The Park District says that is one of the first things you will see is those chairs. Lollapalooza is already sponsoring that part of this. The idea is to get people to hang out longer. Maybe have a picnic, that kind of thing. You know, the rest of the stuff will happen every 5 years. One thing, though, they did not say what comes first or where the moolah
there's that.
is coming from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I really do like the idea of the public bathrooms, though.
Right?
It's so hard to go anywhere with kids when you're not. I almost always end up at a restaurant, which, you know, I don't mind, but.
Then you have to sit and have a whole meal.
Right. You know, punishment.
Exactly.
But no, it'd be
To
nice.
the bathroom,
Yeah, I would like that.
We'll see.
Anyway.
We'll keep you updated.
Yes, we will. Also, keeping you updated on the weather because it is stunning outside and it's only getting better from here, you guys. It's going to be beautiful. So tomorrow, lots of sunshine. Highs are going to be right around 40, upper 30s on Thursday. A little bit more in the way of cloud cover, but I really upped the high temperatures for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm going with upper 40s to low 50s now. An average for this time of the year is 34 degrees, so we're way above that for the next several days. And then looking into next week, this is your temperature outlook from Monday through Friday. And we are strongly favored to see those above average conditions. In fact, we have several models now that are bringing 50s and 60s to the area for a couple days next week. So it's looking very, very spring-like. We get to look forward to that. Futurecast taking us throughout the rest of this evening and tonight. We're going to be partly cloudy. Tomorrow morning, it is going to be a cool start to the day. We wake up to temperatures that are in the 20s, which is seasonably cool, by the way. Your average low for this time of the year is right around 20, and I'm forecasting low temps in the mid-20s tonight. Through the day tomorrow, lots of sunshine expected. Highs are going to be right around 40. And then looking ahead to Thursday, we're going to start to see a little bit more in the way of cloud cover. I do expect the skies to become mostly cloudy. And then eventually there's going to be some showers off to our west, but I'm not too concerned about that moving into Chicagoland Thursday or Thursday night. For tonight, 26, we will have 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. That's enough to bring wind chill temps into the upper teens to low 20s. 7-day forecast tomorrow, lots of sunshine, highs near 40. Then we're going to be in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees on Thursday. Friday, lots of sun, 47. Valentine's Day looking gorgeous. Partly cloudy conditions expected over the weekend. And your high temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees on Saturday. I think we tag 50 on Sunday. Then Monday and Tuesday, it's getting even warmer. We're expected to be in the mid 50s by Tuesday afternoon. We'll be right back.
Now at 5, the Art Institute has its first ever Norman Rockwell piece. And